What is going on, fight fans? And I told you so. I told you that Shakur Stevenson was that guy. Now, when it comes to boxing commentary, bar a few guys out there, and definitely the people I respect the most is the Dan Raphaels and those guys, because they're the most unbiased, right? Because it's easy to create a channel where all you do is talk in the vein of what your viewers are looking for from you, right? So if you like all PBC fighters, David Benavidez is going to be the number one guy in the world to you. Tank is going to be the number one guy in the world to you, or whatever. And those guys can do no wrong, while the other guys only do wrong. That is the world of YouTube boxing commentary. So you always have to walk this tightrope when you care about the integrity of the sport overall, and you don't necessarily care about growing based off of appeasing a certain group of people who just love one promotion over the other. So when I talk about Shakur Stevenson and I tell people that he is my favorite fighter, I want people to understand that that doesn't mean that I am a fan of Shakur Stevenson or I'm fanboying Shakur Stevenson. I love the art of boxing. I love the technicality of boxing. I love boxing as a whole. When you love boxing as a whole, inevitably someone will rise to the top. Before Shakur Stevenson, my favorite fighter was Andre Ward. Before Andre Ward, my favorite fighter was Floyd Mayweather. I like the most complete boxers that exist. I'm not a person that likes just aggressive offensive fighters. There are people that just like that. I'm not a person who likes just back foot fighters. There are people that just like that. I like a person or boxers who have the complete package. But very rarely do fighters have the complete package and then fight at the highest level and are successful when doing so. Because you got the complete package, but you're just not good at all this stuff. To be at elite at all of this stuff is very rare. Shakur Stevenson is that guy. Which is why, even before I was saying he could beat Tank, I was saying that back when he was at much lower weight class, like 3 weight classes back or 2 weight classes back. I was saying he was going to be a problem before he went into the Olympics. Just looking at his amateur career, seeing that he never lost at the international level, which is crazy for a USA boxer, seeing that he made it all the way to the gold medal match. I personally watched the fight when it happened for the 2016 Rio Olympics, and I believe he was robbed by Robsey. I think we've even seen that the AIBA was removed from Olympic boxing because of fraud wins and stuff that they were doing, where they were just giving people wins that it wasn't necessarily the case that those people won the fight. So there was corruption in there as well that was proven, which is why there was the removal of the AIBA, who was the commission looking over the Olympics during the time when Shakur Stevenson fought Robsey. Shakur, in my opinion, was always destined to be this great fighter. I've seen it not just from his amateur career, but also from the fact that he was the third fastest to win a world title. Here's another thing about casual boxing fan mentality. If you don't see somebody beat a superstar, they didn't beat anybody. That's not beating anybody. Because you could have the best skills in the world. If marketing isn't there, no one's going to know who you are. There was a point where Floyd was probably the best fighter in the world, but nobody knew. Nobody knew. He was beating up on all these guys, and he was clearing them easy, and nobody necessarily knew about him because everybody was fixated on Mike Tyson and De La Hoya, and even at a certain point, Roy Jones Jr. But Floyd was there. During that time, he was there. But nobody really knew not because he wasn't more skilled than a lot of those guys. It was because the marketing at the time. So to me, marketing does not mean if somebody's good. How do we take marketing out of it and try to find out if somebody's beating a good fighter or not? Are they world champions? Are they winning world titles? Are they winning lineal world titles, which means the title was not handed to that boxer. The boxer beat the man, and then you beat the man that beat the man, and that makes that title lineal title. Shakur was doing all of these things, winning a world title in just 13 fights. Yes, Lomachenko did it faster, but Lomachenko did it in about 4 fights, but he had a loss on his record when he did it. Shakur Stevenson did not. So Shakur Stevenson has been proving this over and over again, moving up 3 divisions, being a champion, world champion in 3 divisions. And he's only, 26 years old. No other fighter is doing this. So when I'm telling you guys that he's him, it's not because I'm trying to fanboy or fan out. No, it's because all of the stuff he's done has proven that he is him. So I don't need to necessarily see him fight a superstar that you know for me to go, well, now I know he's him. No, like that's not me using my brain and looking at all of the evidence. That is why Shakur Stevenson is my favorite fighter. Now, let's talk about the Zepeda fight. I had to get that out there. I know it took some time or whatever, but I had to explain that because people were talking to me from back in the days when I was talking about how Shakur is he's my favorite fighter and why and this and this and this and that. And they were always like, you're delusional, bro. He's not even close to a Tank. He's not even close to a Ryan. He's not even close to, and it's like, bro, he's not close to them because he's below them. He's not close to them because he's so far ahead of them. Anyways, the Zepeda fight, right? So in my opinion, this was his biggest challenge, right? This was his biggest challenge yet. Before this, Oscar Valdez was his biggest challenge, and he cleared that fight. And because of all, the thing is, you know that he could do what he wants in those fights, but he does what makes the most sense so that he takes the least amount of punishment and doesn't get hit as much. This fight, though, you could tell he brought social media into the ring. That's what happened. And the fact that he brought social media into the ring shows the amount of control that he truly, truly has. This man, how many times have you seen boxers say, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do this, and they go in the ring and it's just a regular fight. Nothing happens different. Nothing's like obscure or like, oh man, you could tell this is what he said he was going to do. Sure, there's times where people say, oh, I'm going to knock somebody out, they knock them out. But I'm talking about when people say this, generally, what happens is they go in there and they do their game plan. And everything they said was just like, I'm just going to say this so that I could sell the fight or that people could view me in a certain way. But really, I'm going to fight like how I fight. And I don't care. Because this is what's comfortable to me. Shakur Stevenson saw that social media was starting to call him a runner, which was not warranted, by the way. And like I said, I'm not a fan of him. He is my favorite fighter. I'm a fan of the entire sport. But I criticized him for the De Los Santos fight because that was atrocious in the way that he was continuously moving on the back foot, not necessarily fully engaging, but moving. Granted, people are saying his hand is hurt. I always say there's no excuses when it comes to boxing. Everyone is hurt one way or the other when they get in there, right? No one's 100%. Either way, atrocious performance. But did y'all not see his Jamel Herring fight? Did y'all not see his Oscar Valdez fight? The Yoshina fight? Like, why are people just looking at the De Los Santos fight? And that time where he tripped and he kind of like ran a little bit because he was running to keep himself from falling over. And people used the snapshot of that, like him running. So it's like, look, this is how he was running. Like, it's so silly. That's what everybody looks at. But he saw the narrative and he literally responded, not on Twitter or X. He responded in the ring. Zepeda missed over 700 punches. He threw nearly 1,000 punches. Shakur threw around 500 punches. This is all according to CompuBox numbers. And still landed more punches than Zepeda. And for any delusional person out there that knows 0% about boxing, if you are in my comment section telling me that Zepeda really won, because why? Because he was throwing a lot? I mean, this is the fight. This fight reminded me of the Floyd Mayweather versus Oscar De La Hoya fight. Till this day, just because people put a narrative in their head that De La Hoya really won, till this day, people still look back, oh, he won that fight. That's the fight he won. It was the same type of fight in the sense that Floyd was leaning on the ropes, catching everything, rolling, countering, uppercuts, right? And De La Hoya wasn't landing anything. But because it's so weird to see somebody just perfectly like pick stuff off, like out of the 20 punches you threw, 2 got in. Okay. And of the 2 that got in, while you were throwing, he hit you with like 7, 8, 9. But you're still going off. People are not used to that. They're like, oh, he's throwing at him, so he must be winning. No, bro. He was missing everything he was throwing. And the thing is, Shakur didn't even have to fight like that. Shakur could have fought the normal way that he fights, which is with distance control. He just showed that he has the cat-like reflexes. He has the ability to roll and counter. He could fight like Floyd Mayweather if he wants to at a high level, because William Zepeda is no joke. He could fight at a high level. He didn't run. He stayed there with his back against the ropes, giving Zepeda every advantage possible. At some points, putting his back against the corner, which is incredibly disrespectful, or showing such an incredible amount of control and understanding of Zepeda's patterns, Zepeda's speed, everything. He had him completely downloaded. Was there a point where he got rocked? I think he was about to step and got hit. And then because he was going to step and got hit, he kind of stumbled, because it doesn't matter who you are. If you're off balance, if you don't have a footing and you get hit, you're going to stumble. But even if he did get rocked, I mean, he got rocked. Why wouldn't Zepeda, who's throwing almost 1,000 punches, be able to throw a punch that could land, that could continue to do damage, that could finally drop him? There was still like 40 seconds left or 30 seconds left. He couldn't get him out of there. So that's what makes me think that that wasn't him being rocked, because if he was rocked, there would be more of a him being rocked situation after getting hit. But I digress on that. Shakur doesn't need to fight like this. In my opinion, the way he fought Oscar Valdez was very entertaining. The way he fought Jamel Herring was very entertaining. He leaned in to Twitter and said, yo, y'all think I run? Now I'm going to do the craziest thing ever. I'm not going to just not run. I'm going to sit on these ropes and let them tee off. And I'm going to make sure that I win this way. It's not the best way to win on the judges' scorecards, because the judges can't see everything the way we see it. But luckily, he was so much better than Zepeda that ended up being too overwhelming. He won because it was too overwhelming. But I would prefer, moving forward, that he just fight like he fought Oscar Valdez and like he fought Jamel Herring. Nobody was calling him a runner for that type of fighting style. That's the fighting style where he is the most pinpoint accurate and the hardest to hit. But he just showed that if you ever do finally corner him or get him on the ropes or whatever, you're still not going to land. I've never seen this side of Shakur Stevenson, where he can sit there and dodge. What he would normally do is use his amazing distance control and keep you away from him. What he did now was like demoralizing to any fighter moving forward. I'll be very surprised if Tank fights him. But if they do fight him, what he did was so demoralizing, because it means he's already over here. He can do this at a level that nobody else can do it in boxing, which is distance control. If you somehow, by some like miraculous way, you get past this level and you go down to level 2, he can see all your punches coming. He could dodge all your punches. He could counter off of all your punches. That's demoralizing. This is already hard to pull off. This is like playing Contra on Super Nintendo when it first dropped with no life. So you have to perfect run it. If you perfect run, you get to the end. Now you got to fight Isaac Frost with no stamina in the story mode for Fight Night Champion. I'm trying to get the person who's a casual mind in boxing to get the depth of the anxiety and the pressure and the frustration of what it feels like to be in there with a Shakur Stevenson, in the sense of like, there's no way, but if you finally get there, you still got to deal with more stuff. And if somebody was able to supersede that, who knows how many more levels Shakur can go. He just proved that he could play with his food and he could do what he wants. And the reason that he wins, and probably the reason why he feels so confident, is because he's winning world titles and he's not even giving 30% of himself. He just showed a new wrinkle that we ain't even seen before. And he showed it like playing around in a playing around sense. And just to shut people up. Crazy. Anyways, the fight went how I expected, that Shakur was going to outbox him in that sense, but not what Shakur did. Zepeda is an amazing fighter. He was Shakur's toughest opponent, but Shakur showed that he was way above his level. And we need to start making sure that Shakur Stevenson is on that pound-for-pound list. Especially people that put Tank on that list. Like, give me a break. You putting Tank on that list, you got to put Shakur Stevenson on that list. I see the Conor Ben talk. Don't want to really see the Conor Ben fight, but if they fight, they fight. I'd rather him fight Lamont Roach. I think that would be a good fight if Tank doesn't end up fighting Lamont Roach. Shakur fighting Lamont Roach and beating Lamont Roach would really send a huge signal to the audience. Like, oh man, wait, hold up. Maybe we should get a Tank versus Shakur fight. And that would be a big super fight at that point. I think the fight turns into a super fight if Shakur fights Lamont Roach and beats him soundly. Then it's like, oh, yeah, we got to see this. Because then people are not going to really care about the Lamont Roach and Tank fight. So, anyways, kudos to Shakur. This is why he's my favorite fighter. I don't pick my favorite fighters lightly. And all the favorite fighters that I've ever picked have never lost. Andre Ward, Floyd Mayweather. And it's not by accident. It's because I can see that they have it all. And to me, because I love the sport so much, seeing a boxer dedicate so much to it that they have it all and have the talent with the hard work and it all comes together, and then they're this like super rare fighter. Yeah, I respect that. I 100% respect that, and that's what makes them my favorite fighter. And this is why you just saw that in that fight, why Shakur Stevenson is my favorite fighter, because he has it all. Anyways, until next time, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the fight. I definitely did. Peace out.